Brian Cheung, as always, you're watching Jay Powell and his comments on wearing a mask.
Well, Chairman Jay Powell, as you mentioned, spoke last week to NPR in an unscheduled appearance, saying that there's enormous economic gains to be had nationwide from people wearing masks and keeping their distance. Not necessarily a surprise. We've heard this from many medical experts, but it is kind of remarkable that the head of the Federal Reserve is saying that. But it's also worth mentioning that in that interview, he also offered a little bit of a more rosy outlook on the economy. He said that the recovery is continuing, end quote, although he cautioned and said, quote, we do think it will get harder from here because of those areas of the economy that are so directly affected by the pandemic still. So again, Chairman Powell offering a little bit of caution with that economic outlook. Something that's worth mentioning here, though, is the timing of this interview. We did not know that the chairman was going to have this interview with NPR before last Friday. You can argue to what degree maybe that was because of the market sell-off that we saw on Thursday and then the partial market sell-off that we saw on Friday until the closing bell that day. But it is kind of interesting to see that right before the Fed blackout, keep in mind the Fed usually doesn't have any media appearances in the week and a half or so leading up to an FOMC meeting, which is next Wednesday. It could have been possible that the Fed chairman just simply wanted to have the last word with some concerns in the market and with so much commentary from the Federal Reserve after that Jackson Hole announcement of that flexible average inflation targeting scheme. So it is kind of interesting to see that the chairman decided to do this last minute. Again, these types of media appearances are fairly rare, but it is interesting to watch and worth obviously keeping in the back of your head as we head into that meeting next Wednesday.